If you really want to understand how Amazon became the absolute giant it is today, you don't need a time machine. Nope. You just need to look at this, their 1997 letter to shareholders. Seriously, this isn't just some old corporate document. It's the blueprint. It's the original code for a company that was about to change everything. All right, let's get into it.
So first things first, let's just start with a number that should absolutely stop you in your tracks. 838%. Just think about that. Imagine trying to tell an investor that your company was going to grow that much in a single year. It sounds made up, right? Almost like a typo. But for Amazon back in 1997, it was very, very real.
And this chart just puts that explosion into perspective. We're talking about a leap from around $16 million in sales to nearly $150 million. This wasn't just a little bit of growth, this was a complete shockwave. And a jump that big begs the question, what on earth was the strategy behind it?
Well, to really get it, we're going to tear down this letter piece by piece. We'll start by digging into that 80% shockwave. Then we'll unpack their core day one philosophy. After that, we'll look at the actual long-term playbook they were running, see how they built the machine to make it all happen, and then we'll wrap up with what it all meant for an investor back then.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the numbers. What did this absolutely incredible year actually look like on paper?
Now here's what's so fascinating. These numbers, they tell a story. It's not just about the 838% sales growth, as insane as that is. Look at their customer base. It shot up 738% to over 1.5 million people. But here's the real kicker. Look at the repeat orders. They jumped to over 58%. That tells you they weren't just getting customers in the door. They were turning them into loyal fans. They were building something sticky.
But how were they doing it? Well, it all boiled down to this one mindset, this philosophy that was completely different from how everyone else was thinking at the time. It was a philosophy of just deliberately tuning out all the short-term noise from Wall Street.
And this one line right here, this is the key to everything. This is day one. Think about that. In 1997, after all that crazy growth, Bezos was telling his shareholders, we're just getting started. It created this culture of permanent urgency, of constant invention, and it forced everyone to focus on the massive opportunity that was still ahead, not the little wins they'd already had.
So, and this is so important, their goal wasn't profit. Not in 1997. Their one and only goal was market leadership. That was their North Star. The bet was simple. If they could become the #1 dominant player, then everything else, the revenue, the profits, the shareholder value, all of it would eventually follow. And this laser focus on leadership created two totally different ways of building a company. You see on the left, you've got the standard playbook, obsess over quarterly profits, react to Wall Street, play it safe. But Amazon, over on the right, was playing a completely different game, a much longer game, all about building something that would last by making big, bold moves.
And this wasn't just some vague mission statement. They had a really clear, specific set of rules for how every single decision was going to be made inside the company.
And here they are. They laid it all out for investors to see. These principles were the engine of the entire company. It's all right here. The obsession with customers, making those bold bets, and this one's my personal favorite, focusing on real, actual cash flow instead of just making the accounting statements look pretty.
I mean, this quote says it all, doesn't it? It's basically a declaration of independence from Wall Street's short-term thinking. Bezos is saying, loud and clear, we care about creating real, tangible value down the road, not just looking good for the next earnings report. For any analyst reading this, that is a massive, massive signal.
But hey, a philosophy is just a bunch of words unless you actually back it up with real investment and execution. So how did they build the machine to actually deliver on this huge vision?
Well, they scaled up, and they did it aggressively. The number of employees almost quadrupled. Their physical distribution space exploded by more than 5 times as they opened a second major center. And right after their IPO, they had $125 million in cash, just sitting there, ready to fuel their next big strategic bet. They were building for a future that was way, way bigger.
And they knew that at the end of the day, that machine was powered by people. The letter states that their single most important ingredient for success was hiring great employees and, this is crucial, making them owners through stock options. This made sure it wasn't just a job. It meant every single employee was motivated to think about the long-term success of the company, just like a founder would.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in the shoes of an investor reading this letter back in 1997. What's the final proposition here? What are you actually being asked to put your money into?
Let's just ask the question directly. What was the core bet you were making?
Because reading this letter, it's pretty clear this was not some safe, predictable stock pick. Not at all.
And what's amazing is that Bezos was completely upfront about it. He laid all the risks out there for everyone to see. He said, look, we have fierce, well-funded competition. We face enormous challenges just executing at this scale. And we're going to need to keep pouring huge amounts of money into this business. There was zero sugarcoating of the challenges ahead.
But then, right after laying out all those massive risks, the letter ends with this. It's such a simple, powerful statement of confidence. It captures that balance perfectly. We know this is going to be incredibly hard, but man, we believe in the future we're building.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway. This letter wasn't just an annual report. It was an invitation to join a mission. A high-risk, high-reward mission for sure. It was asking investors to completely ignore the old rules of business and buy into a blueprint for a brand new world. A world that, today, we just call shopping online.